Hello, my name is Edwin Rutsch, and I'm the director of the Empathy Center located here in beautiful Santa Barbara, California. The center's mission is to build the empathy movement and to raise the level of empathy in society through education and community building initiatives.
And my name is Anita Nowak. I teach at McGill University, and I'm the author of Purposeful Empathy, a book that invites readers to turn up the volume of empathy in their lives.
And at the beginning of 2024, Anita and I co-hosted the Empathy Summit, brought to you by the Empathy Center, and more than 40 authors of books about empathy participated.
They shared what their book was about, why they were motivated to write it, and what they hope readers will take away. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope you'll buy their book.
So next we have our first speaker, and we have Seung Chan Lim, aka Slim. I've always known him as Slim. He is joining us all the way from South Korea, which is currently at, I think, 1:10 a.m. in the mornings. And it looks light there, but you must have artificial light. And Slim is coaching venture-backed founder CEOs. He helps them scale their business to the next level with clear strategy without sacrificing their health or becoming mired in interpersonal challenges or feeling drained by people's problems. And he's the author of Realizing Empathy, an inquiry into the meaning of making. And he's going to be giving away 10 audio books to participants. So take it away, Slim, and welcome.
Thank you. Should I share my screen from my end?
You can, yeah.
Can everybody see this?
Yes.
Yep.
So I spent all of my 20s working as a consultant. I consulted for companies that were struggling to grow their business through innovation. And I felt a great deal of compassion toward the CEOs of these companies. And I wanted to help alleviate their suffering. So I did my best to give them advice on how to grow their company through innovation. But when it came time for them to actually follow through on the advice I gave them, they sometimes refused. And at first I was merely disappointed, but when the pattern repeated itself over the next 9 years with multiple companies, I eventually became resentful. I started to develop hate for the CEOs of these companies. CEOs who lacked courage to introduce new products and services to the market. CEOs who did not appreciate the hard work I put in for their own good. So I eventually said, enough is enough. I no longer want to help these CEOs innovate. I wanted to be the one to lead the innovation. And then with the help and encouragement of a mentor, I stumbled upon the idea of becoming a graduate student in fine arts, where I would not only be the one to lead my own innovation projects, but also conduct research on the principles of effective leadership for innovation. And this book is a byproduct of that research. So at its basics, the book summarizes the various realizations I had during my research. Realizations in particular of empathy. Hence the title of the book, Realizing Empathy. I define realizing empathy as an event that happens when we suddenly empathize with someone, including ourselves, or something through an unexpected realization. And what makes realizing empathy different from merely having empathy is, well, the realization. The kind that often makes us go, aha, oh, or maybe even burst out with laughter concerning something we either did not or had incorrectly assumed to have understood or appreciated enough. It's not much different from growing up and remembering something your parents had told you when you were a child, and all of a sudden going, oh, that's what mom was talking about. Now, what I find both surprising and a little bit, shall I say, embarrassing, is that writing my book helped me see how judgmental I had been toward the CEOs of the companies for whom I consulted in the past. That despite the compassion I'd felt for them, the actions I took to alleviate their suffering, in hindsight, weren't actually helpful to them. At least as not as much as I had thought. And people often say that the process of innovation is filled with VUCA, which stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. But it's more nuanced than that. It turns out the process of innovation is filled not only with volatility, but also anxiety. Not only with uncertainty, but also loneliness. Not only with complexity, but also overwhelm. Not only with ambiguity, but also shame. When I was consulting, I had not experienced these emotions to the same degree or for the same reasons as the CEOs for whom I had consulted in the past. And having now had the experience of leading innovation myself, if I could meet the CEOs for whom I consulted in the past, I would apologize. I would admit that I was wrong, that I did not know enough to sufficiently understand and appreciate their situation. That had I known that they were feeling these emotions, and had I understood and appreciated why they were feeling these emotions, I would have served them in a fundamentally different way. Now, whether or not you read the book, what I hope to leave you with today is this. Whenever you find yourself judging yourself or others, I want you to know that you have a choice. You can either continue judging yourself or others, just as I spent all of my 20s judging the CEOs for whom I consulted, or you can acknowledge that you're having a difficult time realizing empathy with whoever or whatever it is you're judging. Now, to be clear, you can choose the former. The choice is yours and yours only. I respect your choice. But if you want to choose the latter, I want you to know that having difficulty realizing empathy does not mean you're a bad person. It does not mean there is something wrong with you either. And it most certainly does not mean that it's your fault. What I want to express is that the mere fact that you've chosen to suspend judgment is in and of itself something I appreciate. Because it is only after we suspend our judgment that a door opens. One that could invite us to experience a sense of wonder, the kind that is inspired by the paradox that lies in front of us. The kind of paradox that, when dissolved, leaves us with a whole new perspective with which to see. Now, let me show you a video to make clear what I mean by a sense of wonder inspired by a paradox, because it's a mouthful. Watch carefully. Now, I don't know if I can see everybody's hands, but raise your hand if you've made a judgment about the phenomena you just saw. For example, you may have told yourself that you know why that ball is behaving that way. Oh, it's because of magnets, or whatever the rationale that you believe that you understood as. Now, raise your hand, put your hand down. Now, raise your hand if you find yourself having suspended judgment. For example, you may be telling yourself, whoa, how is this possible? According to the laws of physics, this should not be possible. But I'm seeing with my own eyes that it is.
We have 1 minute. Sorry, 1 minute left.
Yep. What am I missing? Great, I'm seeing some hands. So if you belong to the latter camp, I want you to know that that's what I mean by feeling a sense of wonder inspired by a paradox. And as Dr. Lipset, whom I interviewed in my book, has said so eloquently, we mature when what we once assumed to know takes on more subtlety and nuance, thus changes in meaning. In other words, I believe that the challenges we all experience in realizing empathy is also an opportunity for maturation. Maturation much less related to our age and much more related to the choices we make in response to the challenges that we face.
That's the time.
All right, so this is the video that I'll just leave you with, if you're open to the realization. May you stay wonderful. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Slim.